to own it. Just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here. Oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you.
The Lord can help you too, John. But he isn't going to force his way into your life. You have to let him in.
Yo, what's up? They fucking with you. They fucking with you. What's up? Fuck you, homie. What you got? Hey, we can do this right now. You go fucking back to your country. Fuck that. This fucking rice nigga. Fucking. I just fucking cooking some Chinese food, huh? What the fuck is that? Hey, this is all about how many bullets you got? Catch on how many bullets you got?
Welcome to Everything Sparkle. With us, we have Antonio. Antonio, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. So I saw the movie last night. I was excited. When did you guys film that?
We filmed that actually a couple years ago. We filmed it a couple years ago. We had a premiere for it back in September here in Michigan.
Nice. And when did it come out?
It came out a week later after the premiere. It came out on Amazon.
That's when it was accessible for everybody.
Right. It came out on Amazon Prime. And then the DVDs were being sold at some Christian website. I don't remember the name exactly. And then just recently it got streamed to YouTube. So,
well, what made you decide to do a Christian film? I'd love to know the backstory behind this.
Well, I got a call. I got a message, a Facebook message from one of the producers for this film. Her name is Nancy Parker. She's a local actress in Detroit, and she followed me. She was telling me that she was following my acting for quite some time, and did
that surprise you?
It did. It surprised me. She was like she loved my work, and she felt that I could play this part of George, and she sent me the monologue. Oh, I'm sorry, the script, and I studied the lines, and I did the audition, and boom, got the part.
Did you know who she was?
I knew of her from Facebook, but I didn't know her on a personal level. But she's an awesome woman.
That's so cool.
Awesome
I love
woman. Stories
like that. That is just awesome. So she is following your career. Tell us a little bit about your career.
I started out with theater. I like all my siblings, they like to do other things. I wanted to do something different. I was always like big into movies, watching movies, just studying the acting. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna give this a shot. I'm gonna try to study this and take some classes on it. I signed up my community college out here in Flint, Michigan, and took theater. And the instructor was like, "You're new at this, so I'm gonna put you on the lighting and sound. Just watch the other actors and see how they work."
Wow.
So I did that, and I learned a lot from them. My classmates taught me a lot. So I signed with a couple of agencies, took their classes, and networked with other people in the
was
town.
that a college known for acting?
They have theater. They have they have a good theater class there.
Well, did it branch out anybody that was kind of known, at least like locally, where it was like, oh, that person graduated from? Was it a little bit known?
Not really. But the instructor, he had a lot of pull. He referred me to a couple agencies in Detroit.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's Detroit's like 45 minutes away from where I live, south, and so I made some phone calls, signed with a couple agencies, took their classes, and started out doing some extra work in films. then work my way as getting leads. And the more I kept working, I ended up coming across a casting call for Gran Torino, and rehearsed for a part for a Latino game banger, and thank God, it was a blessing to get that part. I was me and Clint Eastwood, man. It was just it was a dream come true.
Oh my! Was that
Yeah.
like? What had you even done before that?
Just doing like a lot of independent films, short films.
Not like a lot of extra. I mean, did you do? What was this like?
I started out doing extra work.
Was this like your first big thing, kind of?
That was my first big thing. Yep.
Wow. I mean, that's just like so unheard of. To be in
Yeah,
such a big movie. I mean, it's like, and you're wow. And so where was that shot at?
In Detroit.
Really? Gran Torino was shot in Detroit? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so yeah, at the time Michigan had a big thing. They had like a big tax break for movies being filmed out here.
I heard about that, but I didn't know that movie was shot there. Wow.
Yeah, so when Clint Eastwood found out about that, he jumped on it. He came out here, filmed, and yeah, it was a blessing in the sky.
Did you get to talk to him, or was it more like a meet and greet? Did you get to ask him any questions?
Yeah, he directed us. He directed. I actually had two parts, two different scenes for the movie, but they added the first part and kept the one that you see in the movie.
The car scene.
Yep. So, but he directed both scenes, and yeah, he was he's not the person that he portrays in his movies. He's a really nice guy, awesome guy.
So did you get to pick his brain, like, and ask him, like, hey, just like acting questions, like, I want to do this kind of thing. What do you think I should do? Any type of advice type of questions, or were you just about what you had to do?
I didn't ask him, but I asked one of his producers, Rob Lorenz, because Clint Eastwood, he was so busy. He was. Just
probably wouldn't have done.
Yeah, I tried. I was lucky to get a picture with him, but he was constantly on the go. He was constantly on the go. That man is a workaholic, nonstop. So, I had a chance to talk to his producer and try to, I asked for some advice of how to get started in the movie industry and in the acting industry, and he just told me he was like, you got to keep working. You have to keep working, no matter if they're non-paying gigs or not. You just got to keep working until your name's called, because once your name is called by somebody big, they're only interested of what you did as an actor, and you got to keep at it. You got to keep getting better as an actor. Stay working. So
you're so humble. This is what I love about you. You're like one of the most humble actors I've ever met.
Thank you.
Well, how do you keep that? How do you keep so down to earth and being humble and working hard? What are some of the tools that you use to be this person?
Well, I came from a hardworking family. And my family always had good humor. I'm really close to my family, and I get it from them. I get it from them, and I use it towards this craft. You gotta have fun out of this. You gotta have fun and make everybody comfortable around you. And yeah.
Do you have an agent?
I do. I'm signed with two different agencies, Production Plus and the I Group.
How does that work? How do you get signed with two different agencies?
Well, the I Group, they only do stuff like commercial print work type deals.
Oh, okay. You have a commercial agent and okay.
Yeah.
And a theatrical. Okay.
Yep. And Production Plus, they do it all.
So when you did the Gran Torino audition, was that with through an agency, or was that just an open casting call?
It was an open casting call. At the time, I wasn't signed with the well, actually I was signed with the agency, but no, take that back. I wasn't with the agency. I'm sorry. It was an open casting call. I found out from a guy that I did a film with in Detroit. He was telling me about it, so I went down there, uh, did it audition, and then a couple of days later they called me back for a second audition, and the next day, maybe a day or two, it was like, hey, you got the part, but you gotta have either a manager or an agent. So I just dealt with an agent at the time. So
Wow.
or I'm sorry, a manager. My brother was my manager at the time. So
Really? How
yeah.
did that work? Did he have experience?
He does. He used to manage a hip hop group. He used to manage a hip hop group out here years ago. So yeah, he does have experience. You know, he's good with business. You know, he took business classes and everything in that nature. But he has a lawn care business, so he couldn't do both. So I ended up signing with an agency.
Wow.
So
This is all interesting, all in Detroit. So what kinds of things have been shot? Gran Torino was shot there. What else has been shot out there recently that we would know about?
I don't know. As far as I know, there hasn't been anything like big shot out there recently, but at that time, Transformers was shot
Okay.
out there. I believe Four Brothers with Mark
Oh,
Wahlberg.
I like that movie. Okay.
Yeah, was shot out there. And out here in my hometown, in Flint, you know what? I can't remember the movie. That's crazy. It has Will Ferrell and Woody Harrelson, Andre 3000. It's a basketball movie.
Oh, okay. I think yeah.
The Flint Tropics. There were the Flint Tropics. At the time that movie was filmed out here. So yeah, everything was happening around that time. So
what's the direction now? You've done, it seems like a very big, you were a gangbanger to being in a Christian.
I tried most of the films that I worked on. It was always the bad guy. It was always the bad guy. I was so happy when I got the opportunity to be in the Christian film. So because I want to do different roles. I want to do different roles other than a bad guy. So
You have to be the good guy.
I like to be a cop. I like to play a doctor, lawyer.
And I can see you being everything too. I mean, that must where they tell you a lot when you get to go to these things that you could play almost anything, right?
Right.
You have that look. Like you could be, I could see you easily being a good guy and a bad guy. And not a lot of people could pull it off where it's like you really could go one way or the other.
Right. Right. And that's the goal. That's the goal. I want to do it all like like Denzel Washington, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. They could play really good bad guys and good guys. And
right.
And those actors that I just named off, they really inspire me. So yeah.
So the Christian film again, did you have like ties to Christianity? Do you go to church? Like tell us a little bit about your background in that respect. Because a lot of times with Christian movies, I know they try to get kind of Christian actors. It's such a small amount of known Christian actors like Kirk Cameron and people that really like, oh, we want to do that. And I live in a town where that was a big thing. Now it's more horror movies, but at one point there was a lot of Christian movies and everyone was trying to get in them because it's fun and it's not done all the time. So tell us a little bit about your town and the connection with Christian movies.
Well, I was born a Catholic. I'm still a Catholic, and my parents and my grandparents went to church faithfully every Sunday, and I always go to church, with them, growing up as a kid. I haven't been to church in a while. I mean, it wasn't because of this whole pandemic thing, but it just I haven't gone to church like I should. I love to go back to church. It's always good to go to church. But yes, I have I was born and raised a Catholic, and every now and then I open up the Bible and read the Bible. So
what is it now? Do you get some fanfare from Christians? Because I mean, that was like a really like a strong Christian movie. So are you, and I'm sure they play this at a lot of churches. So are you getting recognized in that world?
I am. I got recognized. People at my church talk about it all the time, and my uncle, he's a pastor at some Christian church, and his church community talk about it all the time, and they're always congratulating me about being in this film, and the director for this film, his name's Keith Perna. We talked, and he wants to get me back in one of his future films. He's an awesome filmmaker, by the way. Awesome producer or filmmaker, director. So I would love to do his films again.
And what I loved about this movie, it was very real. Like, some Christian movies can be a little cheesy, and this showed a lot of stuff. How did you feel about that? And like the role, I mean, did you even know it was going to come out like that when you saw it, that it was going to be so gritty and real and so much drug use?
I did. I like read the script over and over again, and the script. Yeah, I love the script the way it was written. It was such a good story. But it's like I knew drug addicts. I knew some drug addicts growing up, and some changed their lives around. Some died, passed away. So I kind of like can relate to what the story was talking about.
You knew people like the character you were playing.
Exactly.
Well, that must have been helpful. Do you stay friends with the rest of the cast? I love the main actor, by the way. He did a great job.
Oh, he's such an awesome actor. I talk to him from time to time, but he's making crazy moves.
Do you guys like kind of a tight knit family? You guys still communicate?
I talk to him, and I talk to the character that played my wife. She only played one part in the church scene.
At the church.
Yes. She's doing pretty good herself.
Wow. Yeah. So the main actor has gone on to do other things. Anything else we know of? I feel like he looked familiar to me, but I wasn't sure.
Who's that? Me?
No, the main actor. I already knew you. But the main actor, I feel like you'd been in other things that I'd seen him in. Oh,
he's done some commercials, and he does I don't remember the name of the shows where they talk about murder scenes. He did like a reenactment. Yeah, he did some reenactments.
I've always wanted to do that, be the reenactment. I don't even know how to go about that and get the reenactment agent.
I always wanted to do that too, but I heard
thought that would be fun.
I heard you have to submit yourself on Actors Access.
I did hear that too, and it's funny because you don't even have lines or anything. But I just always thought that would be fun.
Yeah, I would love to do that myself.
You either get murdered or you're like a lot of times you're getting murdered.
Yeah, you either getting murdered or you're the killer yourself. So, yeah, I still talk to his real name is Daniel Jeffries. I still talk to him every now and then. Keith, the director, I talk to him here and there. And
is he going to put you in any more projects?
He's working on one now. He's still in the writing process of it. But he's gonna keep. He said he's gonna keep in touch with me once everything's completed. So,
that'll be amazing.
I would love to do one. I would love to work on one of his films again. He's a really awesome guy, and he does really good work. So the awards.
Tell us, you were nominated for some awards here. How did that come about?
I was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for that film, for the Christian film. It's a Life Worth Living. I got a call from Nancy, the one that founded me for this film. She was like, you was nominated for the best supporting actor at some Christian film festival in Florida. I was like, wow, that's awesome. And then this whole coronavirus pandemic thing happened, so they had to cancel the event, and they were doing it through Zoom, the live thing.
Are you gonna go?
I was gonna go. Oh yeah, I would in a heartbeat. But they didn't have the event. They had it through Zoom, I believe, and I didn't win, but
You didn't go to the awards on Zoom though?
no, I didn't make it. Nancy gave me the heads up. It was like, you didn't win, but you did great, and keep at it. So
Okay.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. You know, as long as my name was out there, you just gotta move on. You gotta go from there.
Right, because to be nominated is a good thing, you
Right.
know. So this is just such a great, impressive resume you have. How is it going in the commercial world?
I haven't did a commercial over a year ago. It was for a hospital in Detroit. I'm I'm still waiting on word about that. I didn't hear anything back about the commercial if the film was completed, because like I said, this whole pandemic thing happened, and
You act in a lot of things too that you just don't even see. Sometimes you don't know how to even go about seeing them. I know how that goes.
right.
So what about music videos?
You know what? I was in some of my brother's his group music, the group that he was managing. I was in a lot of their videos. He has a lot of them. He has a lot of it on YouTube. They're under Day Uno Entertainment. So you'll see me on there on the videos.
Well, that's it. That's easy. You have it in the family. So he's like, I know an actor.
Yeah. And speaking of my brother, he graduated for cinematography. He's got a degree in that now, so he's slowly but surely moving away from the lawn care business. And we've been talking. We want to put our own little projects together and go from there.
So do you want to direct?
I like to learn more about directing too. I like to learn more about directing. I know there's a lot that I need to learn, but I'm looking for the challenge. I'm looking forward for the challenge.
Have you been writing at all? Any stuff or any scripts?
I haven't. I haven't wrote anything as of yet.
So what are you doing in college? So I know that you were studying acting and everything, but what was your focus?
My main focus was acting. My main focus. Yeah, my main focus was acting. But I like to get a piece of the working behind the scenes. I like to learn how to use the camera, the lighting, the sounds. I want to learn it all.
But did you end up completing the courses for that college, or you stopped going?
I ended up stop going once I start like
Getting the role.
Start booking all these gigs. I ended up stop going to, after the semester ended, I just stopped.
Is that what your agent said to do too, since you were booking stuff to stop college?
No, I just did it. I just did it on my own. I just wanted to stay focused on booking these gigs.
Because sometimes it would like coincide with you going to an audition to go to school or to go to an audition.
Yeah, because if I were to have an audition and book the part, it would have been tough for me, because it would have been tough for me to stay in school, especially if they wanted me to, if I was the only person doing the lighting and sounds for the theater. So yeah, I just stopped after the semester. So
And you still stayed in touch with that professor.
no, I haven't talked to him in many years.
That was the one that hooked you up with all the agents down there.
I think he moved out of state. I don't know where, but it's been a long time since I talked to him. You know, I'm sure he stayed busy, and I stayed busy. It's just I'm very thankful though for what he's done and what he taught me. So,
Are you going to have to move eventually away from Detroit? Are you going to have to eventually move? You know,
I plan on moving to California. I
Wow.
plan on. I want to move to California. Don't get me wrong. I love Michigan. This is my home state, but if I want to advance into this acting career, I know it's going to have to be out there.
But it seems like they're bringing a lot of it to you. So, do you think you have to?
I do. I do. Because out here it's mostly independent films and short films, but I like to move up. I want to continue to climb that ladder, and the only way to do that it's gonna have to be in California.
What does your whole family think about this?
They're very supportive. They're very supportive.
They have two sons in the arts.
Yeah, they push me all the time. They tell me they're like, what are you doing here, man? What are you waiting for? Go to California. Go to California. So that's what I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my talents out there. So.
And then have you made some connections out in California, like with some agents and managers and casting agents?
No, I don't know. I don't know if you took a look at my if you saw all my pictures on Facebook or Instagram. When I did Gran Torino, another manager at the time, he got me an autograph signing at the Hollywood show out there in Burbank, California. While I was out there, I met a lot of celebrities that some of them I still keep in contact. Tammy Locke, she was a child star back in the 60s for a show called Monroe's. She was a child actress, and we talk often, and she gives me advice all the time, and she tells me that I need to be out there. So.
Wow, that's great. I mean, it's really good to keep those connections. I saw that you had a lot of mutual friends that were kind of big that I know. So I was hoping, that's what I was hoping. I was like, are you keeping in touch with them and seeing what roles they have?
Yeah.
That's good that you're doing that.
Yeah, I try to network with a lot of people in the industry. So film directors, actors, actresses. So I try to network with everybody as much as I can. But yeah, everything is falling in place.
So who are some of the biggest people that you met besides Clint Eastwood?
I met Fred the Hammer Williamson. I met Deep Roy. Do you know who that is? Yeah, I met Deep.
He's
Yeah, awesome guy. He's an awesome guy. I met Lonnie Anderson. I met Robert Zadar. God rest his soul. I met Greg the Hammer Valentine. He was a former WWE wrestler. Awesome guy. Yeah, the list goes on.
Did you go to the premiere of that then? Of Gran Torino?
I did.
You went to that. So that's okay. That's awesome. Good experience.
They had two premieres. They had one in LA and one here in Michigan, in Royal Oak, Michigan. I went to the one in Royal Oak. But yeah,
so
it was
the LA one.
I didn't I didn't make that. Yeah, I didn't make the LA one. I wish I did though, but I didn't. I couldn't. I didn't make it.
Well, Antonio, I love following you. I love what you're doing. You got to keep us in the loop of what's going on. We should follow you. Is Instagram the best way to follow you?
Yes, I'm on Instagram more than I am on Facebook. So yeah, follow me on Instagram. Antonio Mireles __.
And I see all your red carpet pictures.
There you go. There you go.
Back when there was one, but no, I'm what else do you have next? Because I love how you're so well versed. I loved your movie. I mean, it's the only movie I've seen in a long time of a friend. When someone says, "See this movie," I saw it.
I have a short film that I'm working on next month. I play a character named John, so I will most definitely keep you in the loop with that. So
Definitely, I can't wait to see it. Thank you so much for coming on my show, Antonio.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. Thank you. And the restaurant, I think it's called. Forgive me if I don't pronounce it right. Kabam Land, or is that what it's called?
Land.
When I make it in because I'm going to California in August, so once I'm in town, I'm gonna make an appearance to your restaurant. So,
Awesome! Can't wait to see you. We'll have kebabs. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Welcome to Everything Sparkle Show. James, I'm so happy to get you on. Tell us about your book.
Well, it published in January. It's a sci-fi epic. I'm calling it a space drama because it's a little bit space opera, a little bit mil sci-fi, but it's about a revolution that happens on a Martian colony that kind of upsets the entire system. So set 200 years in the future, and it's definitely character-based. So lots of good characters, lots of twists and turns.
So do you see this becoming a movie?
So funny enough, it actually started off as a pilot script.
Really?
I wrote the script first, and have been shopping it around for a while. And it's garnered a lot of interest, but it's a very big budget show. So I kind of got tired of shopping it around, and I was just like, oh, I'm going to write a book. And then COVID hit like 2 months after that. So I was like, well, the industry shut down anyway, so I might as well just keep writing this.
Wow. No, I mean that's what's been going on right now. It's kind of a good time almost in a way to write, right? What else can you do when you're quarantined?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it has been a productive year for me. I think I've done 3 feature films, including one musical, my first musical, which I'm pretty excited about, and then 2 pilots, and will be 3 novels by the end of the year. So
Wow, you're just a writing machine.
yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun.
So what else do you do besides write?
Funny enough, I went to school and got my degree in directing. So I'm a director and a producer first and foremost.
First and foremost, or just because you went to school for that? Do you have a lot of experience with it, or was it mainly just a degree?
No, I've directed several films, several short films. I've done a lot of producing. I'm actually slated to direct 2 feature films. Well, in 2020, but they got pushed off because of COVID. So as soon as it opens back up, I've got 2 feature films, 2 horror, my first 2 horror films that I'm supposed to direct sometime this year, hopefully, if everything works out. So yeah, actually, I've done more directing and producing than I have writing. So writing is a fairly new thing for me.
Wow, that's interesting. So horror, this is somebody else's script that you're directing. How is that though? Because you're a writer. I mean, do you get like technical and like, oh, I can make this better or this and that? I mean, I don't know. Do you get critical because you're
No. I think that every writer kind of has their own flavor of screenwriting. So for me, it's more fun to kind of dig in and see what they did. And it's like, oh, they're doing this with this character and this voice, and that's very interesting. I wouldn't have done that. And I'll ask them about it. Well, why did you do this? Why is this character saying this here? So like, I love learning. So every time I read somebody else's stuff, I'm very rarely critical. Even if there's obvious errors, I'm still like, what were you trying to do here? So, and as a director, like I'm reading it with different eyes anyway. So
do you think it's good because you really want to get what the writer wants to say across in a way that other directors wouldn't?
I don't know if I could say that because I don't necessarily know their motivation, but I always try to go to the writer first. The director kind of balances between the producers and the writers, the people who have the money and want a certain thing from the film, and the writer who had a certain vision when they, developed it. So I try to play that delicate balance as best I can. But I like to think that I give the writers, justice. I talk with my writers a lot.
Well, that's good. I mean, it's good to be in communication. How did you find these writers and like, I want to do your work, or did they approach you about directing?
They approached me actually. So I got sent the script and read it, loved it. And the first one, read it, loved it. And then we kind of got to talking, and they wanted my feedback, and they were like, well, what would you do different? Or how would you direct this? Or how do you see this scene? How do you see this character? And then it inevitably just turned into them offering me the job. So I signed a deal memo with them, and inevitably a contract. And then the next one kind of came about because they liked what I did with the first one. So they were like, we have this other horror film. Are you interested in reading that? I was like, sure, let's read that too. So yeah, so it kind of has snowballed into.
So it's the same
now working
person
with 2.
that did the 2? That did the 2?
It's the same.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
Same writer for both screenplays. Yeah, which is really fun because they're 2 very different screenplays. Both horror, but totally different. One is like a kind of a hack and slash film, and the other one is kind of almost like a Jurassic Park kind of feel to it. So,
but that's really interesting because they haven't really seen your work for them yet in one. So to say, hey, you're hired on for 2 projects, even though we haven't even worked together yet, that's interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with just my pre-production process, and I actually have done a lot of work with them in pre-production. They haven't seen me on set yet, but
well, yeah, that's a whole different.
Yeah, but I think they know me well enough. I mean, we've been working on this for, it was like 8 months prior to COVID, so now it's been a year plus. So,
wow, A
Yeah.
year plus. So everything should be really well sculpted, all the plans by then, by the time you actually can get on set and start doing things, right?
Oh man. Oh yeah. Like I feel like I'm like a caged animal. Like just let me on set. I'm ready to go. I can't do any more pre-production. I've planned this thing down to like the minute. So
what do you enjoy more then? Do you enjoy writing more or directing more?
oh, that is really tough. It's like,
I
do
know.
you like pie or ice cream more? I think it really depends on the day. I love writing. Publishing the book and having fans reach out to me and want to talk to me about my book and what it meant to them is just such a rewarding experience. I really, really enjoy that. And I like that it's something that I can do kind of on my own and I just see it all the way through. But there's an energy on set. I mean, there's just an energy on set that is addictive. And I love directing. I love getting everybody on set, creating a world and letting everybody just run crazy with it. It's really tough. It's really tough. I'm really liking the writing right now. I will say that. I'm really, really enjoying the writing right now.
I bet. And what have you written before this project? Do you have a book on you, by the way? Where's your book?
I don't actually. But I'll put a link in.
You don't have a copy at your house anywhere?
I have several copies at my house, but I'm not going to run and go get them right now. But there'll be a link. We'll put a link somewhere. Someone will post a link. It's my first novel, actually. My first novel.
But you've had stuff published before, right?
It's my first published novel. Yeah, my first.
But you had articles and stuff, right?
Oh yeah. I've
you've been published
articles
before this number. I understand it's your first novel, but you've been published before.
Yeah. And I've had scripts go to studios, and I've had some stuff optioned and stuff. So like, my writing has been seen before.
Oh, I know you've been writing for a minute. That's what I was like. How long did it take you to write this project, your first published novel?
Probably about 3 months, just to get the first manuscript out, and then the edit process and sending it off and getting beta readers and fine tuning probably lasted another 3 months. So
that's it?
Yeah, top to bottom, probably about 6 months.
What?
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy for a first one. Usually the first one's like the long. I hear after a while, I think because of time demands, that like a third, fourth book could be like that fast. But that for a first novel, it's pretty fast.
Yeah. I think I had the benefit of, I knew the world inside and out already from writing the screenplay. So like I'd been living with these characters for, a couple years. So it's kind of more of a purge process to get their story out. So, I didn't have to do all the research and like discovery that most people have to do when they're starting a brand new project.
I bet. I mean, it's gotta be a lot to work with when you're having to dissect the characters. What was your process? Did you have like a storyboard out? Did you do the storyboard process before you did that?
Somewhat. So I did the whole character workup. So like, I know my characters inside and out. I have this like 100-point document, 100 different line items that I answer, 100 questions for each character. And I do that for all of my projects, just so if I ever get asked a character question, I have the answer, like, how many siblings do they have? What do their siblings do? Everything. When I was very early on in my directing career, I got caught with a bunch of really weird questions from an actor who was like, well, what about this with my character? What about this with my character? And I had no answer. So I was like, I need to be better prepared in the future. So now like I go deep with my characters, too deep, I've been told. But so I did that, and then I did chapter summaries where I would just outline with a couple sentences like this happens, this happens, this happens. And I did that for chapter 1 through 30. And then I just started writing each chapter and kind of went back in and like adjusted things as I needed to. But yeah, I just kind of, here's my book from beginning to end and started filling in the blanks.
Wow. That's such a fascinating process. Who did you talk to during this time about seeing kind of like what they went through? Did you have like other writers or community where you were like, hey, what's the process?
Yeah, a great community of writers and other authors that I've working with now. We're actually part of a convention, SIFCon, the Sci-Fi Fantasy Convention, has been really awesome. And like AK Duboff, she's an author, has been kind of like my mentor. She's kind of helped me through like the publication process and publishing and doing all of that. So that's been really amazing. She's been a huge help. And just like lots of friends along the way. My beta readers were amazing. A lot of them are authors as well. So the fact that I have those people that I can send my work to, and they're like authors and they write in sci-fi and fantasy. So, they're able to like come back to me with like really solid notes. I would just like huge shout out to my beta readers because they're amazing.
Wow. So this is like kind of like a team, right? It's like almost takes a village to create. Do you get nervous having other people read your stuff? Did you worry about?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. For sure. Yeah. I mean, when I hit the publish button and like it was like now out in the world, I had that moment of, what if it bombs? What if people hate it? Yeah, no, totally. Still, like to this day, when friends, like I just went to the dentist today actually, and my dentist was like, "Will you sign my book? Or sign your book that I bought?" And I was like, "Oh, this is really weird. I'm in the dentist chair, but yeah, okay, great." And then I'm like, later, I was like, "Well, what if they hate it? Like, what if the whole office hates it? Like, how awkward is that going to be now when I go there and they're like, oh." Yeah, we read your book. But so far the feedback has been really, really positive. So like that, I think that fear is starting to kind of ebb a little bit. I'm less worried about it now.
So how many copies have you sold? Are you tracking like the progress? And what was like when you started this process, what was your goal?
I had very low expectations. Like I was like, if I can sell like 10 books. Yeah, so I've told everybody my goal was, if I can pay for the amazing cover art that my cover artist did, I'll be happy. Because I was really kind of like the big like upfront expense. So, and I was really nervous about it because this was kind of like a side thing that I was doing.
Right.
And I didn't want to like spend tons of money on it just to like make a book, right? So, but I loved this cover artist. She was amazing. And the work she did was incredible. I talked with her. I loved her process. So I really it was like, okay, I'm just going to invest in it and I'm going to do it. But I hope the book pays for the cover.
Did it?
And it did in the first week, actually, like the cover of the book.
First week.
Yeah. So,
wow.
So
that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I was pretty happy with that. So now I'm just kind of like, I'm not really tracking it as hard anymore. Like I said, I had very low expectations.
Do you have like an agent for that?
No, actually, I don't. So if any agents are watching and they're interested, I'm a free agent right now.
So do you do any book signings? Do you book any type of tours, or not really because of the virus? Tell us a little bit about the process.
It's been very strange with COVID. Usually I would do some stuff, but this with COVID and everything, no, nothing. But people have been shipping books to me to sign with requests and different stuff. So somebody shipped me 5 books so that he could ship it to some of his family members or whatever, and he wanted me to like personalize each of them.
Right.
So it's been kind of. It's been kind of like a cool.
That costs extra, right?
Yeah. Well, I had a girl from London send me a book and then like send it back, and the price was insane. I was like, because I checked, I was like, well, how much is it to ship to London? And the post office was like, it's this much. And I was like, oh my God,
she paid that much money. Tell us. I want to know how much it costs to ship a book to London.
I guess for her to ship it here was like $164 or something like that. And then the self-addressed envelope to ship it back was like 85 or something, which I don't understand why it's half price going back the other way, but I don't know anything about that stuff. So anyway, it was wild. I was blown away. It made that book very expensive.
Wow. But if it's worth it, if your book is 165, but you have a ebook version, right?
I do, yeah. So, but she wanted me to sign it, so she bought the paperback and shipped it to me and whatever. So I mean, I don't know.
Your signature is worth a lot, James.
It's not that great. I did practice it first, though. I tried many designs first.
But it's funny because my friend has this magazine, and I was gonna buy it. I wanted to be on a year subscription. I saw like it's year subscription. It's like 150. I don't know, it was a lot, and it's like each one was like $15, but it's a really elaborate magazine. And I was like, and then I saw like to just get it like online was $3 each, and I didn't want to be cheap, and I'm like, well, that might be more my speed than the $15 each.
Yeah. I mean, and I released my book at 99 cents. So even though it's a big book, and just because like I wanted people to like read it and like pick it up and check it out.
Are you making any money off it, James?
Yeah. I think more people are actually buying the paperback than they are the ebook, which is cool. So it's also on Kindle Unlimited too. So like if you've got the Kindle Unlimited thing, you can read it for free on the Amazon app or whatever. So so that's cool too, and that's neat because I get to kind of watch in real time as people are reading pages. So like I had one night there were almost 5,000 pages read in one 24-hour period. So I get to like watch that tick up. I was like, wow, 5,000 pages of my book got read worldwide today. That's pretty cool. So
that is really cool, actually. When you think about it, that's like cool goals. Well, so this is a lot of stuff. What's next for you then?
I'm currently working on book 2. This is a trilogy, the series. So
we're gonna do 3 of them.
Yeah, and then I'm like wrapping up.
2 years.
What's that?
Like every 2 years, kind of.
I'm going to try to finish the trilogy this year. Actually, I'm scheduled to launch the book 2 in September 22nd, I think, or September 21st. I can't remember what published date it is, but pre-orders up for the book 2 already, and I'm about half done with it. And then I'm going to try to get book 3 done before January 1st, but it might be like first week of January.
James, I've never even heard. This is like so much in like such a short time for like a first time writer. This is like, because that's why I asked if you had an agent too, because a lot of times once you get those book deals, you have to be on a time crunch, and it's just like you're putting yourself on this own time crunch.
Yeah, I mean, from writing and the directing and the film side, I own a production company too. So like I'm used to doing the producing side of things. So I like budgets, I like deadlines, I like, I set things up so that I have my year mapped out. It's important to me that, I make deadlines, because if I don't, my schedule's already so full that if I miss something, like it's got like that opportunity's gone. I won't. There's no free time for me anywhere. So,
well, what I like about this, and I don't want to get personal about like how much money you make or whatever, but I know doing the arts, I mean, I'm in the business too. It can be very not lucrative. So when you have a business mindset, which it seems you have, that's probably the only way to keep things functioning where it can be like lucrative enough, right? To keep it going. Yeah. Like boom, boom. You have to be your own boss, or else you're just going to get.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. And I've been doing this for almost 20 years now. So it's, it's my full-time job. I don't do anything else. This is plenty.
That's awesome. I mean, to make a career out of the arts is definitely impressive. People don't even understand because, a lot of semi-name actors still have a side hustle. They still have other things that they're doing. It's not. So if you're doing 100% the arts, I props to you, James.
Yeah, I put myself through school and it was really hard. I mean, I got out of school with tons of debt, and I mean, not to get too personal here, but like I lived in San Francisco while I was doing it, and it's very expensive. And I mean, I nursed a can of beans for a month because that's all I had to eat.
You're a struggling college student.
Yeah, I mean, I really put the capital S in starving artist. I mean, I really.
How much did you
Yeah.
lose? How much weight you lost? How much did you lose?
I
James?
lost like 70 pounds. I was like a twig. I could barely function. I was working 3 full-time jobs. Like it was nuts. So, you know, when I graduated, I was like, I'm good. This is going to be my job. I'm not screwing around. Like, I'm not going to be that starving artist again. Like, I'm going to really dedicate myself to making this work. So it was like, I had to get business minded, or I had to, you know, find something else to do.
So what's your advice to people in this situation? Besides making goals and deadlines, what are some things some tools to use?
I mean, I think really the biggest tool that you can have in your tool belt is like, be honest with yourself. I think a lot of people really like the idea of doing stuff, but then they don't commit. I mean, this career, the arts, any art career, really, any creative field, well, probably any field whatsoever, like, you have to dedicate to it. Like, it's such a grind. Like, doing filmmaking, even the writing, it's work. It's not as much fun. It's not as glamorous as everybody thinks it is. It is tons of work. It is late nights. I mean, it is all nights, several nights in a row. You know, it's working with, you know, people that you normally not work with. I mean, it's really tough. It's really tough. It's not like how it looks in the movies. It's hard. And if you don't love it, you're going to wash out really quick. Just be honest with yourself. If you don't love every second of it, walk away. Save yourself the trouble.
I totally understand that, James. I like that. What about, okay, how do you know if you're good or not? I guess that's a weird question, but I mean, this is your first novel. And I guess because you've been directing and producing for so long, you could say, hey, you know, I'm gonna make a novel, whether I'm good or not. I have all this. This is the time to do it. You know, you say commit to it. What if you commit to this, but you're just not that good directing, producing anything in the arts? Like, what point should you say, maybe I'm not that good, maybe I shouldn't commit my time to it? I think that's maybe why a lot of people have side jobs, because they want a backup plan in case they're not that good. What's your advice for that?
Accept feedback and criticism and grow. I mean, I don't think anybody starts off naturally gifted in directing, you know. I mean, like, it's such a weird thing. You know, like, I think if you're a good people person, maybe you have an edge, but, you know, like, creating a film from paper takes a lot more than just being a people person. So, you know, I think you have to be open to feedback and criticism. And you have to be willing to, I tell everybody, it's like, you know, I went to school to learn how to get kicked in the teeth repeatedly and feel really bad about myself and get over it and get better. So, you know, like, you might not be
advice too.
Yeah. I mean, my first book might not be great. I mean, I don't know. I like it. I'd read it, but, you know, is it going to like smash award shows? No, probably not. Is it going to be remembered as like great American literature? I highly doubt it. But if a handful of people enjoy it, then I've done my job. So, where I think that the growth part comes from is when people come to me and say, you can do this better, you could do this better. You know, I'm always willing to learn. I learned so much writing this book and publishing it that I'm going to apply to the next book. And I'll get my teeth kicked in on that book too. And I'll get criticism and feedback on that book too. And
What's
then the third book will be better.
By the way, I didn't ask what publication it is. What's your book publication?
It's published through an imprint of my own company, actually, through Dawn Runner Press, which I've brought to the Central Valley. So,
okay, so you have a production company, and then you sidelined into a print publishing company.
Yep.
It's like
focus on sci-fi and fantasy. Yeah, I've actually partnered with another author from another publisher, and we have created this together. So it's kind of a cool little thing. Getting ready to make some more announcements as far as that goes too.
So you just go around and start a company whenever you want to do something.
I don't think it. Well, I mean, it kind of sounds like that, but you know, no, kind of. I try not to. Yeah, I did a lot of research on you know, like book deals and you know, self-publishing, indie publishing, traditional publishing. And I did the math, and I kind of wanted to do my own thing. And then I found that a lot of the kind of independent publishing deals were really one-sided and really not in the author's best favor. So I started talking with some other authors and was like, are there any like good deals to be had? And they were all kind of like, not really. So I decided that, I had the opportunity to kind of do my own thing. And then other people were like, well, we'd like to do that thing with you. So here we are. Kind of was outside of my control.
So this is all do you think people that aren't super into sci-fi will still like this? What can you compare it to, kind of?
So I tried to write a story that was a like political war story, that the sci-fi-ness was just the setting, right? It's not.
Some people are into that. That's people that aren't hardcore into sci-fi. They need to be eased into it like that. So you have it like kind of.
Yeah, I mean,
sci-fi.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's several people now that have told me that was their first sci-fi book that they've read, and which is interesting because I wrote it for this kind of a sci-fi audience, I thought, but then people who don't like sci-fi are reading it and liking it. So it's very interesting to me how that works out. But I try to compare it. It's kind of like Band of Brothers, the TV show, meets Battlestar Galactica. So, if you liked Band of Brothers, you'll probably like this. If you liked Battlestar Galactica, you'll probably like this.
Well, I'm excited to read it. I want to read. How long is it take me?
What was that?
How long is it going to take me to read your book?
How fast do you read?
I could be a fast reader, but that's the only way I could do it. Because if it's too long, I can't read. It's too long. I just don't have time.
Yeah, it's a fairly long book. It's like 158,000 words, so it's on the longer side.
I'll read it in spurts. Well, especially if you're coming out with book 2 and book 3. Now the pressure's on. But
That's right.
Getting back to my original question, kind of, are you going to make it into a movie? Is that what you do?
Yes, I want to very, very badly. And I'm still talking with several networks that are interested. So this has just been a very strange year for everything with COVID. So, they're still calling me, which is awesome. The industry just needs to figure out what's happening before deals get inked. So yes, I'm hoping so.
Thank you so much, James, for coming on my show. You're going to send us the links. We will read it. We will keep up with what you're doing. We all got to follow you on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. What's your main source of us communicating with you or seeing what you're up to?
Probably Instagram now. It used to be Facebook, but I'm being told by everyone that Instagram's where it's at. So that's where I'm spending most of my time these days.
What about Twitter? Are you a Twitterer?
No, you know what? I kind of skipped Twitter. I don't know. I couldn't get over the whole like I'm gonna go tweet something. I don't know. I couldn't get behind it.
Awesome, James. We are gonna follow you, and congrats on all you have going on.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been awesome.
Felt right in the morning, felt right in the summertime. It felt right drinking cherry wine with you. Just wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you. Now I must confess here, oh, I must confess, dear, don't think I'm in love with you. Winter is coming and I don't know what to do, and there's no more use in running, no more running to you, and I don't want your loving, I don't wanna be just friends, knowing all this time we were playing pretend.
It's a mystery.